You see this wanker? These wankers have put targets on everyone. Keir Starmer is responsible for the sort of shit that happens there. Because he's put a target on every one of us with his smears and lies for telling the truth. Charlie Kirk told the truth. If Charlie Kirk lived in the UK, Keir Starmer would lock him up. How dare you make comments about his death? When you're responsible for this shit, people with your mindset, condemning people, putting targets on them, lying about them, and then pretending you give a shit. Absolute fucking hypocrisy.
Rupert Lowe.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. My new political movement, Restore Britain, is currently running a membership poll on support for deporting all illegal migrants. The response from thousands of people is almost unanimously in favour. Will the Leader of the House make time for a debate on mass deportations, given its extraordinary level of public support, and ensure that this House has the opportunity to debate not just the moral imperative, but the legal and operational reforms required, including secure detention facilities, bilateral returns agreements, foreign aid suspensions, remittance taxes, visa cancellations, the introduction of a true hostile environment, and plenty more, all in order to deliver the mass deportation of every last illegal migrant at scale and pace.
Leader of the House.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm tempted to give the answer that one of my predecessors, Ted Short, gave, which is to say no. However, I'm not going to do that because these are important matters. I made very clear in my opening remarks that I regard my role in this House as respecting the views of members and making up opportunities for members to debate those, even if they are, I have to say, abhorrent views. He knows, he's been here long enough, he knows that there are many ways in which these matters can be raised. He's just done it now. I'm resisting the temptation to go down the track of reciting the very important work that this government is doing. But if he does seek a debate on these matters in the usual way, then...
Breaking chaos has erupted in Westminster as Carr faces the biggest threat to his leadership yet. In a shocking turn of events just minutes ago, MPs from across the political spectrum officially launched a no-confidence vote against him. What began as murmurs of discontent has now exploded into a full-scale political revolt, fuelled by Starmer's dramatic Brexit U-turn that has left his party in turmoil and the nation in uproar. The once steady grip he held on power is slipping fast. And tonight, the question on everyone's lips is whether Britain's Labour leader will survive this political earthquake or be buried by it. The storm engulfing Starr's leadership has been building for weeks, but it reached its breaking point today when furious MPs finally united to trigger a no-confidence vote. The move is nothing short of extraordinary. Members from both Labour and the opposition benches have joined forces, declaring that Starmer's handling of Brexit has crossed a line that cannot be forgiven. His decision to push through a secretive EU deal, one that critics say shreds the very promises of Brexit, was the spark that ignited this rebellion. To many MPs, it was not just a misjudgment, but a betrayal of the millions who voted to reclaim British sovereignty. This betrayal has turned into a political inferno that now threatens to consume his leadership. The no-confidence vote represents more than just anger over policy. It is a direct challenge to Starr's authority. Insiders reveal that senior Labour figures have been plotting this move for days, with backroom conversations filled with accusations of deceit and betrayal. Starr's pledge to respect Brexit now lies in ruins, replaced with a deal that hands back powers over fishing, food standards and judicial oversight to Brussels. It is a deal that has enraged not just Conservative Brexiteers, but Labour MPs representing heartland constituencies who feel abandoned and misled. As one furious MP reportedly said behind closed doors, "This is not leadership, this is surrender." The fallout inside Parliament has been explosive. Witnesses described the atmosphere as toxic, with shouting matches erupting in committee rooms and heated confrontations spilling into corridors. Starmer himself is said to have lashed out at colleagues, accusing them of treachery and threatening reprisals against dissenters. But the rebellion has grown too large to contain. The cross-party alliance behind the no-confidence motion is determined to see him weakened, if not removed entirely, and the sheer momentum of their challenge suggests that his position may already be beyond saving. The symbolism of this rebellion cannot be overstated. A no-confidence vote is one of the most dramatic tools in parliamentary politics, and its very launch signals the collapse of trust in Starr's leadership. Even if he survives the vote, the damage is irreparable. His authority has been shredded, his credibility shattered, and his reputation as a steady hand at the helm is crumbling before the nation's eyes. Each hour brings new declarations of defection, new statements of outrage, and new warnings that Labour's future is on the line. Beyond Parliament, the public's anger is boiling over. In coastal towns like Grimsby and Hull, where fishing communities had long hoped for Brexit to deliver renewal, the betrayal has struck a deep nerve. Star's deal, which effectively extends EU fishing rights until 2038, has been condemned as nothing less than a sellout. Protesters are mobilising, banners are being raised, and chants of betrayal echo across social media. These are not isolated grievances. They are signs of a broader rupture between the political class and the very people they vowed to represent. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage and Reform UK are seizing the opportunity with ruthless efficiency. Farage has branded Starmer the greatest Brexit betrayer of them all, while Reform's surging poll numbers reflect a growing hunger for alternatives to the mainstream parties. Every moment of this chaos strengthens their hand and weakens Star's. It is no exaggeration to say that this no-confidence vote could mark the beginning of a seismic shift in British politics, where Labour's traditional base abandons the party in droves, reshaping the electoral map for years to come. For Starr, the clock is ticking. His inner circle scrambles to rally support, but whispers of defections are spreading faster than they can be contained. Some MPs, terrified of losing their seats in the next election, are already openly aligning with the rebellion. The mood is one of panic, desperation, and collapse. As the no-confidence vote edges closer, one thing is clear. Starr is now fighting not just for his leadership, but for his political survival. The rebellion against Starr has grown into a tidal wave sweeping through Westminster, with unstoppable force, and leaving his leadership in tatters. What began as murmurs of discontent has escalated into a full-blown crisis that now threatens to topple the Labour leader entirely. Behind the grandeur of Parliament's ancient walls, tensions are boiling, and every conversation, every whispered exchange, carries the weight of betrayal and fear. Senior Labour MPs, once loyal to Starmer, now speak openly of his downfall, calling his leadership irreparably damaged and his Brexit strategy an unforgivable mistake. Even some of his closest allies are rumoured to be wavering, quietly calculating their own survival as the no-confidence vote draws near. The spectacle is unlike anything seen in years, a political implosion unfolding in real time. At the heart of this rebellion lies the controversial Brexit deal Starmer pushed through with stunning secrecy. Marketed as a reset in UK-EU relations, it has been exposed as nothing short of a capitulation. The fine print reveals concession after concession. Fishing rights extended deep into the future, EU judicial oversight reintroduced through the European Court of Justice, youth mobility schemes reinstating the ghost of free movement, and alignment with EU defence strategies that critics say threaten Britain's independence on the world stage. To Brexit voters, these terms represent a betrayal of everything the referendum promised. To Starr's critics, they are proof of a leader willing to sacrifice sovereignty for short-term political optics. The deal is not just unpopular, it's radioactive. Inside Labour, the anger is visceral. MPs from the party's traditional strongholds in the north and coastal communities have been particularly vocal, accusing Starmer of selling out the very voters who handed Labour a path back to relevance after years of decline. Fishing communities that once placed their hopes in Brexit as a path to revival now see themselves betrayed again, their livelihoods bartered away in a deal struck behind closed doors. In places like Hartlepool, Sunderland and Hull, the fury is palpable, with local Labour branches threatening open revolt unless the leadership changes course. The sense of betrayal is deeply personal, with grassroots members calling Starmer a man who promised one thing and delivered the opposite. The party's internal unity, already fragile, is cracking apart under the strain. The opposition, meanwhile, has smelled blood and wasted no time exploiting the chaos. Conservative MPs, still reeling from their own internal divisions, have found rare unity in condemning Starr's leadership. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, breaking his silence, has called the deal a catastrophic surrender, framing it as the death of Brexit itself. Tory MPs have mocked Labour as a party of betrayal, while quietly enjoying the spectacle of their rivals in freefall. But it is Nigel Farage and Reform UK who stand to gain the most. Farage has launched a relentless media blitz, hammering Starr at every opportunity and presenting Reform as the only true guardian of Brexit. His message is simple, but devastatingly effective. Starr lied. Labour betrayed you, and only Reform can be trusted. With each passing day, reform support swells, posing a mortal threat to Labour in the very constituencies it cannot afford to lose. The atmosphere in Parliament is one of hysteria. Journalists crowd the corridors, cameras rolling as MPs dart in and out of secret meetings. Rumours swirl of last-minute plots, potential leadership challenges, and backroom deals to force Starr out before the no-confidence vote even takes place. Names like Angela Rayner and Wes Streeting are whispered as possible successors, but no one dares move too quickly, fearing the wrath of a wounded leader who still clings desperately to power. Insiders describe Starr as increasingly volatile, lashing out at aides and railing against the cowards in his party. His once calm demeanour has cracked, replaced by visible frustration and desperation. Outside Parliament, the fury is spreading like wildfire. Protests are being planned across the country, with fishing communities, Brexit strongholds, and even disillusioned Labour supporters preparing to take to the streets. In places like Grimsby and Plymouth, banners are already being raised, accusing Starr of betrayal and demanding his resignation. The anger is not confined to older Brexit voters. Younger activists too are voicing frustration, accusing Starr of dishonesty and a lack of principle. Social media is ablaze with outrage, with hashtags of betrayal and resignation trending as citizens vent their fury. The crisis has spilled far beyond the confines of Westminster. It is now a national reckoning for Britain. The stakes could not be higher. The timing of this crisis, with the economy fragile and public trust in politics at historic lows, makes the fallout all the more dangerous. Businesses are left in limbo, uncertain of what Starr's deal means for trade and investment. International allies watch nervously, questioning Britain's stability and credibility. At home, ordinary people feel abandoned, betrayed by leaders they trusted to deliver on the most important democratic decision in a generation. The no-confidence vote may be a parliamentary procedure, but its implications extend far beyond Westminster's walls. It has become a battle for Britain's political soul. As the clock ticks toward the vote, one truth has become undeniable. Starr's leadership is in mortal peril. The rebellion has gained too much momentum. The betrayal cuts too deep, and the anger is too widespread to ignore. Even if he clings to office for now, his authority will be shattered, his credibility destroyed, and his party divided. The Labour leader finds himself trapped in a storm of his own making, a storm that could sweep him away and reshape the political landscape of Britain forever. The storm intensifies as the consequences of this no-confidence vote spread beyond the walls of Westminster. What began as whispers of rebellion within Labour has now transformed into an all-out assault on Starmer's authority, shaking not only his leadership, but the very stability of his party. The country watches in disbelief as reports reveal that dozens of Labour MPs, once loyal foot soldiers, are now openly questioning whether Starr has the credibility to continue. They accuse him of misleading the public, betraying Brexit promises, and allowing internal divisions to fester unchecked. The Labour Party, which Starmer once claimed to have united, is now splitting at the seams, with rival factions using this vote as their ultimate weapon. What makes the situation more chilling is the timing, with economic pressures mounting and Britain facing serious challenges at home and abroad. The spectacle of Labour tearing itself apart leaves the nation teetering on the edge of paralysis. For Starr, the no-confidence vote is not merely a procedural challenge. It is an existential threat to his leadership. His opponents within the party are framing this as a moral reckoning, claiming the leader has failed to live up to his promises of honesty, accountability, and unity. Some MPs have even compared the unfolding events to the downfall of past Labour leaders consumed by their own party's internal wars. The media has seized on the drama, broadcasting every defection, every resignation, and every outburst in Parliament, turning this political implosion into a public spectacle. Newspapers splash headlines declaring Labour in civil war and Starr's days numbered. While commentators question whether the leader can possibly recover from this humiliation, cracks in Starr's calm facade are beginning to show, and his critics describe him as a leader cornered, fighting desperately for survival. Meanwhile, rival parties smell blood in the water. The Conservatives, battered by their own scandals in recent years, see this as a rare opportunity to regroup and present themselves as a stable alternative. Reform UK, already gaining momentum, is using this chaos as proof that both Labour and the Conservatives have failed the nation. Nigel Farage and Richard Tice are wasting no time weaponising this vote, declaring that it shows how broken the establishment truly is while urging voters to turn to them for real change. The Liberal Democrats, too, are quietly positioning themselves to exploit the collapse of trust in Labour. This creates a dangerous cocktail of political uncertainty, with every party scrambling to claim the moral high ground, while Britain itself drifts into deeper instability. The ripple effects of this no-confidence vote are being felt internationally as well. European leaders, who had only recently begun warming to Starr after years of Brexit disputes, are now questioning whether his government has the strength to maintain steady relations. Foreign media outlets describe Britain as a nation in leadership chaos, raising doubts about its ability to navigate global challenges. Investors are nervous, markets are shaky, and allies are cautious. The world is watching Britain with concern, wondering if its government will collapse entirely and trigger yet another general election. Inside Westminster, the mood is feverish. Leaked conversations reveal that backbench MPs are plotting in late-night meetings, drafting letters and rallying support against Starr. Some demand immediate leadership elections within the Labour Party, while others push for him to call a general election to let the people decide. Starr's allies are scrambling to contain the rebellion, urging patience and loyalty. But the momentum of dissent seems unstoppable. What was once a manageable wave of criticism has now become a tidal force, threatening to sweep away his entire leadership. Even senior cabinet members are reported to be wavering, calculating whether remaining loyal to Starr will destroy their own political futures. As these dramatic developments unfold, Britain stands at a crossroads. Will Starmer somehow rally enough support to survive the no-confidence vote? Or will his leadership collapse under the crushing weight of rebellion from within his own party? The stakes could not be higher, because the outcome of this battle will determine not just the future of Labour, but the direction of Britain itself. The suspense is unbearable. The uncertainty grows with every passing hour. All eyes now turn to the vote itself, a moment that could either mark the rebirth of Starmer's leadership or its complete annihilation. The hour of reckoning has arrived, and the atmosphere in Westminster is nothing short of electrifying. The no-confidence vote against Starr has become the defining moment of his political career, a moment that will decide whether he continues as Labour leader or joins the long list of fallen leaders consumed by rebellion. As MPs gather for the vote, the tension is unbearable. Every whisper, every exchange of glances, and every nod in the corridors of Parliament carries the weight of history. The fate of Starr's leadership now rests in the hands of those who once stood shoulder to shoulder with him, campaigning on his promises of renewal and stability, but who now question his every move. This is not just a vote on policy. It is a vote on his credibility, his character, and his ability to lead a fractured party through one of its most perilous chapters. The drama intensifies as numbers begin to circulate. Early reports suggest that Starmer may not have the overwhelming support he once assumed. Key backbenchers who had been silent until now have suddenly turned against him, citing his betrayal of Brexit promises and his inability to deliver unity within the Labour ranks. The opposition seizes on these divisions, with rival party leaders declaring that Britain cannot afford a leader who has lost the confidence of his own MPs. Outside Parliament, crowds gather, some chanting for Starr to resign, others demanding an immediate general election. The noise grows louder by the minute, echoing through Westminster as though the entire nation has descended on the capital to witness this extraordinary showdown. Starr, for his part, remains defiant in public. He insists that this rebellion is nothing more than a distraction, a sideshow orchestrated by opportunists seeking to divide Labour when unity is needed most. He claims he still has the numbers to survive, but the cracks are too visible to ignore. Resignations from within his own team have created a sense of inevitability, a momentum that feels unstoppable. The opposition frames his defiance as arrogance, accusing him of clinging to power even as the foundation of his leadership crumbles beneath him. It is a spectacle of pride and desperation, with Starr standing alone against a tide of disillusionment and betrayal. As the final votes are cast, the chamber falls silent. Every face is tense, every breath held in suspense. When the result is announced, shockwaves reverberate instantly through the building. Whether Starr survives by a narrow margin or falls to crushing defeat, the reality is the same. His leadership has been gravely wounded. A leader who must rely on fractured loyalty and the threat of collapse to cling to power is no longer a leader in control. Even if he manages to remain in office, the rebellion has scarred him irreparably and his authority is shattered. Britain now faces chilling uncertainty, with questions of new leadership, possible elections, and the future of the Labour Party dominating every conversation. In the aftermath, commentators describe the vote as a political earthquake. For his supporters, it is a bitter reminder that leadership is fragile and survival often comes at great cost. For his enemies, it is a moment of triumph, a step closer to ending his tenure and reshaping Labour's future. The opposition wastes no time declaring that Britain deserves better, calling for an immediate general election to end the chaos once and for all. Starr's legacy, once built on promises of unity and change, now lies in ruin, overshadowed by betrayal, rebellion, and division. The suspense lingers, the drama intensifies, and Britain remains trapped in a storm of political crisis with no clear end in sight.